The Wii U is finally upon us, but before that I wanted to pay a little tribute to the Wii. While many people thought the motion controls were a gimmick, and granted many games did use them as such, I wanted to pay respect to the games that actually used the motion controls to enhance the game, or were creative with how they used the motion controls that actually worked well. To make a few things clear, the game has to use the controller for more than just pointing and shooting. I won't be putting in any of the Wii brand games to make this a little more interesting, and if you don't see a game you think should be on here like No More Heroes and Mad World, well, it's probably because I don't have it. Also, this is not a list of my favorite Wii games, that's another list. Alright, let's start off! A motion control game on the Wii where you never touch the controller. As weird as it sounds, it actually works. I'm not sure if I've heard of any other game on the Wii where all you do is put the controller on a box and tap on the box to do everything in the game. Run, sprint, jump, balance, swing, paint, and more. All done by just tapping. It's on my list for originality, creativity, simplicity, and most of all, it really does work. Based on how good your, shall we say, tapping rhythm is, your character will have a much better chance of getting a gold medal. Unfortunately, it's not any higher since it's not exactly a poster boy for demonstrating Nintendo's controller, and could have been replaced by the bongo drums, which I still love. Oh, and for those who never saw my review of the game, it was made by Yuji Naka, the co-creator and programmer of Sonic the Hedgehog after he left Sega and made Propay. Please tell me that got some of you more interested in the game, because I don't know what else will. As a launch title, I've got to give it some credit. I mean, I certainly didn't enjoy the motion controls for Mario Kart Wii, but I certainly enjoyed them for Excite Truck. After a few practice courses, you should quickly get the hang of it. The controls are used for what you would expect, steering the truck. You'll also be sent off to touch the clouds, at which point you can move it around to perform tricks, as well as to adjust the landing. It might seem a little hard to steer when the truck is going into an uncontrollable destructive rampage, but that's the point of having an uncontrollable destructive rampage. Just relax and let everyone else panic. Hey, wait! I thought you said you weren't going to put any shooters on here! No. I said it had to do more than just aim and shoot, and to its credit, it does. For example, the grapple beam is done with a nunchuck to take off the enemy's shields. You can also select objects, turn batteries and other objects, and you can have the morph ball jump on its own. And there's probably some more stuff, but it's been a while since I've played it. But this is based on how well the motion controls work, and while they do work well, there just isn't enough variety to put it higher on the list. Though I do love ripping the shields and armor off of the enemies. It just makes me want to scream, "Get over here!" when I do it. I dare you not to do that the next time you play it. I kinda wanted to keep ports off of this list, but I just couldn't help myself. Sure, most of the time it's aim and shoot, but there's reloading, crowd control, sprinting, and getting away from someone invading your personal space. The controls work just like they should, and made a great game like RE4 on the GameCube and PS2 even better on the Wii. I was a little worried when they announced this game as I wasn't too sure how well the motion controls would work on a port. As you can guess, those fears quickly disappeared and were replaced with the normal ones like this guy. Much like Metroid Prime 3, aiming with the Wiimote makes this game more enjoyable with the motion controls because of its accuracy. Oh, you're wondering why there's a face over the enemies when I kick or shoot off their heads? It's so the kids watching this don't get freaked out. Of course, when I was a kid, I wasn't frightened by stuff like this. In fact, I liked seeing guts splatter all over the place. Kids today need to grow a... Okay, for the record, I'm still not a fan of The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, but I'm giving credit where credit is due. The motion controls in Skyward Sword work very well. The aiming, the rolling, the throwing, the gliding, the flying, well, the others work great and can be recalibrated very quickly in case it does go haywire. But the whip is... whatever. And the sword... well, it actually does work, and I think I figured out why some people, including myself, have trouble with it sometimes, but I'll go over that in my review whenever I get around to it. I feel the best one is the Beetle Glider. I've never had a problem controlling it. Up, down, left, right, straight, anywhere. With the exception of the whip, which just felt pointless, I felt they all work just like they should have if you were to integrate them into real life. I don't like the whip is what I'm getting at. Of course they had to put in motion controls for Mario's 3D platformer on the Wii, but it was the way they did it that made sense and didn't feel gimmicky. Granted, the second one did it as well, but it pretty much took a lot of the ideas from Galaxy 1, so let's just go with the original for now. You use the Wiimote to pick up star bits and use them as ammo. Swing the Wiimote to do a spin attack for an extra bit of airtime or to attack. Plus, all the other stuff like guiding an air bubble or bouncing on a ball. I know it's torture for a lot of other players, and it can even give me a hard time once in a while, but think about it. Would this work with traditional controls? I'm gonna place my bets on that would be a terrible idea. And most of these parts didn't overpower the platforming with the exception of the spin, which, in my opinion, actually enhanced the platforming as it helped me avoid what would have been many embarrassing deaths. I love you, Spin Attack, you wonderful life-saving multi-purpose 360-degree turn, you. Oh boy, this game has quite a bit of hate behind it, doesn't it? Well, for the record, let me just say, yes, it is a bad crossover, especially when the characters say the same thing to anyone.
Who's number one now? Luigi!
But is it a bad game in general? No, not really. I mean, that's why it's on here. I skipped the next two Olympics that came out because they didn't have an online mode like this game should have had, but at least I had the first one. And with the first one, we get a wide variety as to how many different ways to use the Wiimote, and many of them make a lot of sense. Running, long jump, triple jump, rowing, gymnastics, and of course, skeet shooting, just to name a few. It does feel like a minigame collection, but I never said those couldn't be on the list. In fact, there are some really great minigame collections that use the Wii Remote in ways that make them better than any other controller method out there, and this is one of them. Now, if only we could get a good crossover game with these two franchises one day. Let's pretend we are back in time and the rabbits haven't been milked to annoyance yet. Back when this first came out, it was one of those perfect examples of how to show off just how to use the motion controls in a very unique, fun, and sometimes funny way. The amount of original and very well made minigames made this a must-have for me. In fact, once I saw this one where you can smack some rabbits upside the head, I just had to throw my money at the cashier. It even tried to integrate the speakers on the controller. Some minigames are simple and fun, while others can make your arms fall off. But if you want that high score, you gotta suffer for it. Pump through the pain. Pump through the... Wait, this doesn't sound right. Gee, I wonder why Capcom doesn't make original games anymore. What could be the reason? Oh, I know, it's because barely anyone picks them up. And modern Capcom makes poor decisions. But anyway, I feel that this is the best non-minigame collection on the Wii to use the motion controls to their fullest, at least from the ones I've played. Use the controller to tell Zack where you want him to go by pointing on the screen and pushing A. If you see something interesting, then click on it or shake the Wii Remote to see if your suspicions were right. If something transforms, then you'll have to pick up the item, find the right place for it, and use the item as you would in real life, like fishing or using an umbrella. There's so many ways to use the Wii Remote in this game that they kind of brag about it during the loading screens. And if you're looking for a challenge, then you've come to the right place, as this is one of the most difficult puzzle games I've played. If you need help to beat this game, join the club. WarioWare wasn't made for the Wii. The Wii was made for WarioWare. I've played the GBA and DS games, but the Wii version perfectly demonstrates the insane minigames found in the WarioWare collection and all the crazy ways the Wii Remote can work. Before each minigame, the game tells you how to hold the controller. Then you see the screen and have to quickly think about how you're supposed to use the controller to clear the minigame. This game is first on my list because it's the perfect way to demonstrate how to use the controller in ways you didn't think you could interact with a game before. Even the parts after beating the boss are fun to imitate. Mario is the mascot of the company, but it's a psycho lookalike that steals the spotlight for innovation on this console. Can't wait to see what they do for Game & Wario on the Wii U. And that'll do for this list, and if you have a different list of the Wii games that did motion controls right, I'd like to hear them.